Hey, Stephen Young here doing the Junkyard Crawl with some help from my friends at High Octane Classics in Auburn, Massachusetts. Thanks, guys. Now, everybody knows about the Dodge Dart. For the most part, we think of cars like this, the Swinger, everybody's high school car, generally found in the hands of the fourth or fifth owner, driven into the ground with the slant six. We've got to remember, the Dodge Dart name started in 1960. Right here. Now, the Dodge Dart was the junior model for the Dodge lineup, available as the Dart Seneca, the Dart Pioneer, and the Dart Phoenix on a 118-inch wheelbase. Above that was the senior Dodges known as the Matador and the Polara, which were not Darts. Similar styling, but longer wheelbase, 122 inches. Now, 60 was a big year, not only the first year for Dart, but also the first year for semi-unitized construction on full-size Chrysler products like this. All of them, except for the Imperial. Now, we'll take a peek here at this left front corner, and if you look, you'll see right here, the frame is made of heavy steel, and there's no integrated inner fender, but that frame only goes under the driver's seat and then stops. It bolts to the cowl. The rest of the car, from the firewall back, is a unitized tub. There's no frame going under the seat to the back. It's semi-unitized construction. Again, sort of like a 67 or 67 Firebird Camaro or the 1968 Nova by GM. They had the same basic idea, but you see it here in 1960 at Chrysler in its first go-round. This is also the very first year for the Slant Six. Do we have one here? And yeah, there it is. That's the Slant Six. Again, replaced the 230 cubic inch flathead six, which had been available in Chrysler since like 1936 or something like that. You know, it's different cubic inches, but the flathead six was the workhorse until the Slant Six arrived in 1960 and really took over. Now, this one here has the original air cleaner, quite tall. The same engine in a Valiant or a Lancer, a 61, would have a shorter, smaller, lower profile air cleaner. Now, something else we see on this one here is kind of an unusual detail. The valve cover on the Slant Six, when installed in full-size cars, does not have a drop-off right here. If you know your Slant Sixes, you'll know that they have sort of a low spot right here for the most of them. Well, the first couple years, only the Slant Sixes installed in Valiants and Lancers had that flat spot to clear the heater, which went over it, the heater box. So again, specific, C-body only, flat top valve cover on 60 and 61 Slant Sixes. Kind of a weird small detail. But the craziest thing about this car that I'm seeing is that. That's a heater delete plate right there. Ordinarily, there would be a fiber box, and this here would have a heater motor sticking out of it. This is a heater delete car, and for $74 credit, you could delete the standard heater. So this car either came from Mexico or Hawaii or maybe Arizona or California. But with that said, you know, most of those arid states, as hot as they are in the summer, they're cold in the winter. So Dodge had heaters as standard equipment. But again, if you wanted a $74 credit, you got the heater delete. That block off right there is so rare. And if you had like a Chrysler 300 heater delete, like a Daytona race car or something like that, that plate you need bad. Now, these hoses might say, hang on, Steve, there's a heater on this car. Well, somebody cobbled in, they cut a hole in the firewall right here. We can see right here where somebody put a hole there and probably hung a heater core underneath the dash. So that's cobbed in there. So somebody says, hey, you know what? I'm in Massachusetts. I need a heater. So anyway, that's weird. We'll go inside and have a peek at the rest of that heater delete package or non-package. But again, here's the Dodge Dart. And again, this is the Pioneer, which is the mid-level. Of course, it was Seneca, Pioneer, and Phoenix. And we see on the rear quarter panel the word Pioneer. And again, this crazy reverse fin. Again, Virgil Exner kind of checking out and near the end of his reign of design. I won't say terror. No, he did great things at Chrysler. He really did. But some of his stuff is just crazy. But something beautiful about this is this fastback styling right here. What a graceful, thin pillar. What a nice job that is, really. I mean, it's beautiful to look at. But on such a big car, it accentuates the size or it shrinks it. You decide. But as we go inside this, we'll see, first up, On the left-hand side of the steering wheel, those 5 buttons, that means this one has the TorqueFlite automatic, which was also new, the 904 aluminum TorqueFlite. It was $211 over the 3-speed manual. But to the right, notice that that plate has potentially 5 holes, but the 3 in the middle are actually molded closed. That's factory. It says off and air. That's the other half of the heater delete recipe on this thing. So again, that is a rare faceplate right there. And again, $74 credit to delete the heater on your Dodge Dart. Now we go to the VIN on this puppy, way down low there, and let's decode it together. 4 is Dart 6, 5 would be Dart V8, but this is a 4, so a Dart 6. 2 is Dart Pioneer, 0, 1960 model year. 2, Hamtramck, Dodge Main production, of course, 233868 was the sequence number. But again, 1960, first year for semi-unitized construction. And under this floor, if you could see with x-ray vision, you would see the end of the stub frame right about at the foot level. And of course, for the rest of this thing, it's going to be unitized. And in fact, inside we see Motor Life magazine, April 1960, with a full report on the new 6s. And of course, here's the Comet in its first appearance. What a weird looking car. This of course would eventually become the Comet GT, the 390, all that cool stuff, but it was its humble beginnings. But again, we get into the Dodge Dart Pioneer, and here is the test of the car on the right. Now, it's a 6-cylinder powered car, as is this one. That does have the heater. See, the firewall has that lump on it. That's the factory heater. And it says here, the wording from Car Life or Motor Life was, the new Dart is equally new 6-cylinder. The new Dart and its equally new 6-cylinder power plant were given special attention for this report. To test its cruising and economy abilities, the car was driven from Indianapolis, Indiana to Los Angeles, California. This cross-country car was equipped with an automatic transmission. They got 22 miles per gallon with the automatic. And about the Slant 6, they say, the new 6, which is also used on the Plymouth and with a slight variation on the Valiant, is one of the most progressively designed 6-cylinder engines on the market today. It cruises easily at 65 miles per hour and has a surprising amount of snap for a 6. While acceleration figures are lower than those of a companion V8, they were still most impressive. 0 to 60 in 14.4 seconds must be considered outstanding for a 6. Now the thing about that Slant 6, let's go back to the engine bay, is that it lays down on a 30-degree angle over to starboard, or port is left, starboard's right, but again, it lays down 30 degrees. The point of that being that it sits a little lower than it would if it was vertical to better fit under the hood of low cowl Exner styles like this, the body styles. And also it makes room for the ram-tuned intake manifold. You notice how the 6 runners are quite long and they go underneath that 1-barrel carburetor, and you get a slight ram effect, believe it or not, from that ram-tuned intake manifold on the Slant 6. So that's how magazines like Motor Life were able to say, man, that little Slant 6 does more than it should. And again, 225 cubic inches, 145 horsepower in something that might weigh, 3,900, maybe 4,100 pounds. Underpowered, sure. But you could have also at this point in time had the 361 or 383 Sonoramic with 2 4-barrels on a long ram on the other end of the scale. But again, here we have it, the beginning of the Dodge Dart nameplate. Most recently used on the Fiat-based front-wheel drive Dart GTs of maybe 2015 or thereabouts. Good little cars. I mean, they were fine little cars. But again, this is the beginning right here. Now, got to keep in mind, in the 1950s, there were some Dodge Dart show cars made, but for production, for mass production, for you and me to buy, 1960 right here. And these were junior Dodges. Again, 3 models. There was the Dodge Seneca, Pioneer, and Phoenix in the Dart line, and of course then we have the Matador and the Polara on the larger, but they had the same basic styling, but just a longer wheelbase on the bigger cars. So again, Dodge Dart starts right here, but make sure you wear your jacket. This thing's a heater delete. Now if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Magazine YouTube channel, and we'll be back tomorrow with more Junkyard Crawl.